It is very likely to be extremely difficult and fraught. In fact, possibly less likely to go the same way as with the deputies, as we knew from the start that the Senate had more senators against passing the law to decriminalize abortion.
Now, the Catholic Church is very influential, obviously, in Argentina, and some critics are even accusing the church of pressuring politicians to vote against the abortion bill. Is that what's happening?
Well, this isn't a new thing. The Catholic Church has a history of putting a lot of pressure on both politicians, but also on doctors and other public health officials to affect how they even distribute contraception, never mind whether they can be involved in terminations and abortions. So this isn't a new thing. This is something that's always been present, but it's done very quietly and behind closed doors most of the time. So it's quite hard also sometimes to prove.
What are your thoughts here? Do you think that abortion will be legalized in Argentina, perhaps if not with this vote, at a future point?
Yes, I think what's happening is that there has been a sea change in public opinion. So, however the Senate votes today, the way in which people are thinking about the issues has radically shifted, and there's a real sense in which if it doesn't get passed today, it will happen at some point not so far into the future, because what's changed is the public involvement in the debate, the range of people who are involved, the number of young people who are really actively involved in campaigning. All those things point towards this issue not dying down at all, whatever happens today.
Well, what about the rest of the region? How might the outcome of this vote today influence other countries, either for or against?
Well, I think the rest of the region is looking really closely because, as in Argentina, in the rest of Latin America, abortions are the main cause of maternal death. So there's a real energy across the region to try and address it. So one of the countries that has recently passed a law legalizing abortion, Uruguay, they've seen maternity mortality just fall to zero since it was passed in 2012. And in the rest of the region, there is a real hunger for a public health and social justice kind of approach to legalizing abortion, which has to do with poor women not dying from having unsafe abortions.